Good afternoon, Ape Nation. Guys, what's going on? It is Friday, December 10th, 2021. It's about 2:15 and AMC currently right now is down 11%, down $3.30 a share at 26.14. Well, that's not what I'm here to talk about. You guys know that. I do want to touch on two other news items that came out today. First, the CPI data, and the other is the DOJ investigation. But this video is going to be quick. I just want to get the information out to you so you guys know what's going on and can kind of prepare yourself for the future. All right, but before we get too far ahead of ourselves,
cue the speeder.
This is the way.
and real quick, before I roll this, I know I'm going to get some people in the comments who are saying,
Massalorian, this is supposed to be an AMC channel. Why are you talking about politics, Fox Business, Tucker Carlson?
just take a second and listen to what the man is saying, the message he is trying to relay to the American people. And if you'd like an alternative to what Tucker is going to say, well, you can always go over to CNN and listen to Chris Cuomo talk about... He did? On Monday, you say? Okay. Apparently, Chris Cuomo isn't at CNN anymore. But if you like, there's an article. You can pull this up. It's from December 1st. And the argument from CNN is why inflation can actually be good for everyday Americans and bad for rich people. So that's CNN's take. Now I'll give you Tucker's. Roll the film.
So here's the Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen. She's the reptile who once ran the Federal Reserve and is therefore more responsible than any single living person for your growing poverty. Here she is assuring you that $7 bacon isn't actually a problem. That's not really inflation. It's something called transitory inflation.
I don't believe that we're at risk of hyperinflation. We've had several months of high inflation that most economists, including me, believe will be transitory as our economy gets back in full swing after the pandemic.
It's just transitory. It's the price of progress, $7 bacon. Yeah, but look what you're getting in return. Aren't things great? That's what they were telling us. And then the president of the Atlanta Fed, a man called Raphael Bostic, admitted what was very obvious to anyone who goes to the grocery store. This actually is inflation. It is real inflation. It is not transitory inflation, and it's going to be here for a long time. What he didn't say was that this is not an act of God. This isn't a hurricane. It's not an earthquake. It's not something we can't control. This is the result of decades of policy that have enriched a few and impoverished the many. When will the reckoning be for that? And what are the effects for you going forward? Hey, Sean Hannity.
Okay, so those are your two narratives. CNN can sit there all day and tell me till they're blue in the face how inflation is good for everyday Americans and bad for rich people. But unfortunately, if you look at the data itself and really break it down, the three major categories that we have the highest rise continuously is in food, energy, and transportation. All three sectors that hurt your everyday working average middle class to lower class American citizen. Not the elite. The elite are traveling in private jets and they have catered meals and chefs. I don't know why CNN is going with this narrative, but I'll believe my lying eyes and see that I know, for me at least, my bottom dollar is getting affected, I'm sure, more than Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates. Okay, so let's talk about the Fed. A few months back, I had made this video, and ignore Lou, that was when he was saying AMC was going from 30, then they're going to push up to 100, they're going to try and shake you off and drop it back down. The main purpose of the video was to say, ignore that, that's never going to happen. And the other thing was the power of the Fed is real, and Wall Street has made the Fed its bitch. The Fed was created back in 1913 by Congress, and it had two main objectives when it came to the U.S. economy. And that was very simply to maximize employment and production, as well as keep inflation as low as possible. And if we were doing a case study based just off this week's data from unemployment earlier in the week and now the CPI data, we would have to come to the conclusion without a doubt that Jerome Powell and Janet Yellen before him have done a shit job of carrying out those tasks that Congress set the Fed up for in its inception. And I pulled up this article here. It's from October 23rd of 2019. And it's entitled, "The Fed is Sharply Increasing the Amount of Help It is Providing to the Financial System." And you just have to ask yourself, back in 2019, why was it necessary that the Fed had to come in and pump all of this liquidity into the banking system? And the only thing I can come up with is that the banks were again failing, just as they had in 2008. And this was a preemptive attempt to prop up the economy and save the banks. Now, this announcement came from the New York Fed, which did not elaborate on the reason for the increase. However, it comes a day after the Fed injected just shy of $100 billion into the system via an operation where it provides banks with cash in exchange for high-quality assets like government bonds. So naturally, the next question is, where did all that money go? Where is all that liquidity that was pumped into the market? Roll the film.
America's quantitative easing hangover is going to be ugly. Beneath the manufactured euphoria of our top-line economic numbers, Google's killing it. Record profits for Amazon, says CNBC. Beneath all of that garbage, the actual American economy is in trouble, and there are many signs of it.
And again, guys, say what you want about Tucker Carlson and Fox, but just last night in Wrench's video, he went into detail talking about what is propping up the market right now, and it's not most of the stocks that we own, that retail is invested in. Yeah, sure, you could have a couple shares here and there, but it is the big companies, the top 1% that are benefiting from all of this infused cash while we suffer. And who else is benefiting? Well, the Fed themselves. High-level Federal Reserve officials are being investigated by the SEC that they may have violated insider trading rules. What a shock. And speaking of investigations, earlier today, Bloomberg came out with this article entitled "Hedge Funds Ensnared in Expansive DOJ Probe into Short Selling." Apparently, the U.S. Justice Department has launched an expansive criminal investigation into short selling by hedge funds and research firms, scrutinizing their symbolic relationships and hunting for signs that they improperly coordinated trades or broke other laws to profit. And we talked about this before. Wes Christian went into this with Dave Lauer on Superstonk back in the middle of the summer. And he talked about all of these different tactics that they deploy out there to cause a stock to go one way or the other to benefit them. Now, I found really interesting in the middle of this article, this little part here under funding research. And it says, hedge funds are known to strike a wide variety of deals with researchers, sometimes paying handsome subscription fees for fresh insights into possible corporate trouble, or even becoming an author's primary source of funding. In one example, prominent financial investigator Harry Markopolos, who normally makes money from whistleblower awards, said he partnered with a hedge fund to share profits when he released a report on General Electric Company. And what's so intriguing about Harry Markopolos? Well, if you don't know, Harry is a fellow Bostonian from Greek American descent, and he was the main guy and the first guy who was letting the SEC in on what was going on with Bernie Madoff and the Ponzi scheme that Bernie was running. And if you want to watch something really fascinating, there is a documentary called Chasing Madoff. It's from 2011. And it's basically the story of how Harry Markopolos and his team of investigators took 10 years to uncover and expose all of Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme that he had been running. Now, I don't know if they're taking Harry's name and just plugging in the article to give themselves a little more clout, but if he is involved and his research firm and investigative journalists are involved. Maybe we'll see some fruits from this investigation, but I'd be remiss if I didn't state again, this is being led by the feckless AG, Merrick Garland, who put out that threatening memo earlier this year talking about that he was going to sic the FBI on parents who weren't happy with the curriculum their kids were being taught in elementary school. This has been going on for a long time. Make no mistake about it. This is not a new revelation, but the fact that we all got in this play back when we did and have been holding this whole time and fighting this battle, things now are not allowed to be just pushed under the rug anymore. They are coming to light to the surface. And honestly, guys, that's one of the biggest reasons I'm still in this play right now, is because of what we've accomplished so far, but we've still got more to go. And hopefully this fight will not be in vain, and we'll be vindicated when this is all over. All right, I'm gonna let you guys go. I got another video coming tonight. Guys, thank you so much for all your support always. Thank you for the likes and the comments and the views and all of it. I appreciate you guys so much. This is Ape Nation. I'm the Massalorian, and I'm out.